some wonderful country, they even see how animal can be happy because a friend of mine was telling me a story that here in Nigeria we enjoy skure, that skure that used to chop banga. So he was just joking that this is a very very good delicacy in our country. He was surprised that the police knocked at his door the following day that with his presence in Canada, that is as if skure that is in their some tree in their compound is going to be it's going to go into extinction because he mentioned that skure is a good delicacy in Nigeria, and police were listening to that. I say, well, we should that they appreciate even animal. And today I have some wonderful giants to actually engage us on our conversation for today. These are people who are experts in their profession and very, very patriotic, very, very patriotic. And let me start from United States because Nigeria are wonderful individuals from across the world love this country so far. They love this country. They know that God equally loves Nigeria, and they feel that Nigeria can do better, and that's the reason they sacrifice a lot of things to contribute to their own quota to see how to create those conversations that will make Nigeria a lovely, lovely and progressive place. And that's the reason our very, very wonderful brother from the United States, Donald Trump, present country home, joining us all the way from United States. He's a Chus Elenu, is a program management expert, is a community organizer or mobilizer, and he's called a political analyst. And not only that, he's an IT and security expert. My brother Chooks, thank you very, very much for joining us all the way from United States. Hold on.
And your guests.
Okay, thank you very, very much. I hope you did hear better news from River State, your country home.
Well, we try to keep track of what's going on in Nigeria. Yes.
I know the last time that I have conversation with you was the day they were announcing that state of emergency. If you can still remember.
Yes. Yes. I do remember.
I was on set with you when I said that your country state has or your state has entered state of emergency. But that's a story for another day because if it is America, there's no business, there's no need for declaring that state a state of emergency. But that's the way Nigeria politicians behave. But that's just it. Thank you very, very much for joining us. And this is a time that you're supposed to be cruising on a very good altitude. Is it how do you call it? This is a pilot. What did they use for sleep?
Well, yeah, it is in the middle of morning over here, so it's about 2 a.m.
Okay.
It's about 2 a.m. in the morning, yes.
So you will be enjoying your sleep, but for the sake of our country, you decide to say, okay, a sacrifice. So the sacrifice is highly appreciated.
We love our people, and we certainly want to be able to see what we can do to make things better.
All right. Thank you very, very much. Again, joining us from Kaduna. Kaduna is initially I was thinking that if air commit offense in Kaduna, they're supposed to be able to capture that air because of security formation in Kaduna, the NDA, almost just name them. Kaduna is supposed to be a place that nothing you can't even push anybody. But Kaduna is facing a lot of issues security wise, but I don't know. Okay, joining us from the Kaduna is Comrade Isaac Tanko. Comrade Isaac Tanko is a National Secretary, Middle Belt Generation Next, public affairs analyst, and advocate for good governance, particularly in Kaduna and Nigeria. Comrade Tanko, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me once again. Good morning, our viewers.
All right, thank you very much. And we shortly, he just tried to put one or two things together so that he's live with me in the studio, but you will still be seeing him on camera. He's no other person than Honorable Tokwe Balog, Honorable Tope Abdulrazak Balogu. Honorable Tope Abdulrazak Balogu is a governorship candidate for AA, that is Action Alliance, in Nigeria 2023 general election. He planned to be a governor of Lagos State, but the people of Lagos State at that very time decided to go for Babajide Olushola Sowolu, who is current governor of Lagos State. Let him just set so that the camera will still show him. And please permit me, I have two short video that I want us to listen to. Oga Chuks and Oga Tanko. Just let's listen to that very, very short video. One is one is just a way to charge our political activity, for you to be very civilized, smart in your decision making during election as you listen to politicians, because the campaign will soon start. I think I will be making effort to bring some of this kind of conversation or information to you. And the second one is apology from the Federal Minister of Power that make una no verse, say the darkness where una dey, say make una no just verse. But let's listen to them.
Young people, open your eyes in politics. Not every smiling politician is bringing bread. Some are just checking the size of your basket. During elections, many leaders suddenly remember your street like lost relatives looking for free food.
Do not follow every loud promise in politics like village goats chasing a flying plastic bag across the market.
Some promises in politics are like balloons at a party, big in the air, colorful in the sky, but empty inside and ready to burst.
So be wise, young people. If someone wants to lead you, first check whether he knows the road himself.
Every election season, a politician suddenly becomes Father Christmas, promising light, roads, hospitals, jobs, and even heaven if you just vote first. By the time they finish promising, even the goats in the village are waiting for streetlights and free Wi-Fi. These sweet promises are not new soup. They have been reheating the same pot for generations. They served it to your grandfathers, served it to your fathers, and now they bring the same pot smiling at you. While they were trained how to cook these promises like professional chefs, the people were trained how to clap and swallow the soup. So wake up, people, because if you keep eating promises like popcorn in a cinema, the movie will keep repeating forever. The day you stop treating political parties like football clubs, your problems will start running for cover.
Fanning a political party has become an inheritance. Your father shouted it, his father shouted it, now you shout it like parrots in a market.
Some people vote because their grandfathers wore a party t-shirt and wonder why the government looks like a broken stove. Political parties should never be your aim. The person should be your aim. Check if they can lead before you follow. Do not vote because your father said so. Vote because the person is fit, or you might tumble into a well with them. And remember, if a blind man leads another blind man, both will fall into a well.
We want to apologize to the generality of Nigerians, officially now coming from me as Minister of Power, that for this temporary issue that is leading to hardship in experience, especially during this dry season, where there is so much heat everywhere, where businesses are also being affected, where schools have been affected, where industries have been affected. It is not our wish to find ourselves in this situation. It's some factors that are actually beyond our control. But we are not relenting. We are working on it 24/7 to make sure that we go back to the trend, to the trajectory of 2025, whereby you praised us, whereby you commended us for a good job well done. And we can imagine if we could provide such service in 2025, this is 2026, this is when we'll be willing to even do more, to even do better as we are close to the election year. So, except that we cannot help it, that's why we find ourselves here. But I can assure you that in the next few weeks, all this will be over. Power generation will improve, transmission will improve, distribution will improve, and that 6,000 megawatts will be achieved before the end of this year. and Nigerians will be better for it.
Listen to it, but I think I watched the apology interview or broadcast last
Oh,
week,
oh,
so
oh,
within the week.
okay.
But now I didn't get it because
Oh,
there was
okay.
no audio.
Yeah. Now, if you that thank God that you listen you listen to that press briefing about the challenge of and two things I want us to look at, Honorable Tokwe and Tanko. He said that the temporal issue, Tanko, issue of life, is it temporal? And equally say just like 20 that we will still go back to what they have achieved in 2025, not 25 years ago. 2025, I know I'm still, if I check very, I was still in Nigeria. And I know that the issue of light, people have been complaining, not only 2025, not 2024, not 2023, not 20, but when he say he will take us back to 2025, what do you then secondly, he's only promise telling us that we know that now the election is coming, they will do everything possible to ensure that we have light so that we can see road to vote. Honorable Tanko.
Well, saying he's going to take us back to 2025, that tells us clearly that he has no idea of what he's saying. He was only on camera to seduce the Nigerian public as usual with their lies and lack of commitment. It is it is it is heartbreaking to see a federal minister coming back to tell Nigerians that he is going to take us back to 2025. The first question to ask here is in the past 10, 20 years, what has changed? I think maybe the last 10 years was better than even 2025, which became worse with electricity and energy in Nigeria. And let me tell you, like in my place now, like you can see, presently I'm using solar. Sometimes you have only 5, 6 hours light in 48 hours. Sometimes you stay 48 hours without seeing a blink of light. This started since last year. The energy sector, the power sector became worse from 2025 to this point. So I wonder what the minister is saying that is going to take us back to 2025. It's just a show of disrespect to the plight of the Nigerian people. That's all.
Are you sure? Are you what is it that the issue of life is just a temporal? It's temporal, not short one. What is your take on that? It's as if this man is not aware, because maybe I did study English. I know but I know the meaning of temporal.
Well, if he says temporal, that is his own view. But calling Nigeria's energy or light problem a temporal problem, I wonder what phrase he could have used to describe actually the message he was trying to pass. But what is temporal about the Nigerian power sector? It's disheartening. See, sometimes if you want to analyze what these guys are doing, you become short of words because there is no political will, no effort put in place, no readiness to change the situation from where we were and to where we are going. Well, if the presidential villa can switch using solar, then I think
Yeah.
the problem is actually temporary.
Honorable Tokwe, have you accepted his apology?
Well, what do you do? If you don't accept it, can you actually do anything? The way the nation has been so warped, we are just meant to be taking everything from them by hook or anyhow. We just have to accept whatever they bring and keep agitating for what we want until they get it right. But for you to say you don't accept your apology, then what? In fact, apologizing to us is even an honor.
And some people will say, "Thank God you apologize."
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, let me come to let me come to Ogachukwu. In fact, for Nigeria, for a child to know how to speak, the first word is up nepa. That's how you know that a child will know how to speak. So that's the first language. And I know how do you feel? Maybe I know sometimes you visit Nigeria, you will experience that. How do you always feel? You come from where you are, you don't know except the switch off your lights, but when you come here, and sometimes my daughter just came back from school. In fact, I don't know, I was apologizing to her. One, there was no lights. We put on the generator, and he was telling me that, oh, Daddy, the noise. Because that, despite the generator is a bit far away from my flat, but the noise is equally disturbing. So it's like we are on, and that one can cause one chronic sickness or the other that maybe it is yet to come that is going to manifest. How do you feel? Do you think our issue is temporal, Ogachukwu? Issue of energy?
Absolutely not. It is not. First of all, I will say that the minister publicly apologizing is actually a good one. However, there is no question that Nigeria deserves leadership. And we're not just talking about leadership as in title. We're talking about leadership that is competent, one that is accountable, and more importantly, one that understands the supply chain, the value chain, in whatever assignment that or portfolio that the minister is holding. I am pretty sure the minister must have traveled with Mr. President to the UK recently. Mm-hmm. He should be able to tell us how many times while he was in the UK that he experienced power failure. By the way, the UK is smaller than Nigeria. So if a small country like the UK can manage itself, I don't know why Nigeria, with all the money that we have, I come from Rivers State, so I can tell you firsthand that Nigeria wastes all of its gas supplies, right? So for a nation that has access to vast reserves of natural gas, we waste over 75% of it.
Even so solar is equally there. Solar is equally there. Wind is there.
But the solar that is equally there, at least the little that I saw when I was in Nigeria, they're mostly in Aso Rock. So the average person in Ilupeju or Badagry or somewhere in Gwagwalada does not have solar, right? So solar is not available to everybody. But yeah, solar I think is the way to go. I think Nigerians need to do the same thing that was done to Nitel, right? If you recall back in the 80s, Nitel used to have this pomposity of this arrogance that owning a telephone is a luxury in Nigeria, until Nigerians started making it clear that that is not the case, and they abandoned Nitel and went for cell phones. Till today, nobody talks about Nitel. I don't even know if they still exist. Maybe in the books, they probably still exist. But everybody now has a cell phone. Some people even have 2, 3, or 4 cell phones. So Nigerians need to close their eyes and move away from fossil fuel and move to solar. Yes, it's a little bit more expensive, but the cost savings, the peace of mind, and the relative comfort that you get from it is absolutely not comparable.
Now, how do you feel that the minister is talking of, by God's grace, maybe we'll still be able to get maybe like 6,000 megawatt, a country of excess of 200 million. We are talking of, I don't know, South Africa is talking of over 50,000 megawatt. How do you feel when Nigeria as a country, we are talking not even 10,000 megawatt for only Lagos, but the whole country, we are discussing 6,000 and are promising that's going to be your yardstick for performance. How do you feel, Oga Chooks, compared to where you are?
Yeah, so certainly, first of all, the minister will not be able to achieve his goal by the end of this year. The Nigeria has
No, he's
maintained
talking of next
the.
month. He's not even talking.
That's my point. He said within 2 weeks. He said within 2 weeks. So I'm helping him by saying he's not even going to achieve it before the end of this year, which is more than 2 weeks. He's not. So, and that's where the incompetence come in. We as leaders need to be very honest with ourselves and the people that we serve. So there's no point in insulting, adding salt to injury by saying on one hand that you're sorry, which should be accepted by the Nigerians, but you cannot turn around and now start giving unrealistic estimates. As a project manager, one of the things we do is to take a look at critical assessments, and you don't give dates when you don't even have the relevant infrastructure or the relevant tools to make it happen. So to achieve the 6,000 megawatt, we already know that you're barely producing 4,000 megawatts. How are you going to get to 6? So here where I live in a very small town. And the town that I live in owns the electric company.
Wow.
And that is a replication of every small place in America. We don't have a national grid. The electricity is owned by cooperatives as well as small counties as well as cities. What is holding Nigeria back is the government trying to be all things to all people. They need to liberalize the same way that everybody now has a cell phone. The electricity distribution and generation should be allocated to small communities. You don't have to start with the poorest ones. A place like Lagos, for example, should be able to generate its own electricity. And within Lagos, you should be able to break it up into so many small generating companies that, because all over Nigeria right now, I think you have 33 generating companies, right? That is too small. That is way too small. We have 33 generating companies in one city, right? Because when you do that, then the distribution now begins to reach people because you have massive competition. So long as you keep the monopoly the way it is, and so long as the federal government keep trying to run the business, that's why it is not working. Government is not a good business leader. Government is government. Government should focus on policy and legislation and execution and allow real business people to run businesses, liberalize the electrical production in Nigeria.
Okay, before we leave this topic and enter our topic proper, what band are you in where you are? Because here we have band A, bandit B, bandit C, bandit. Like our own out, we are. In fact, we don't. So the minister was even saying that Nigeria, although he has given us a lot of apology, or people don't switch off their air condition, your fridge, supposed to not to enjoy cool environment, but he has apologized for some of. Which band are you?
So, well, in the U.S., as big as the U.S. is. So, by the way, the U.S. is about the size of the entire West Africa, right? That's how big the U.S. is. We only have 3 bands. And unlike Nigeria, where the bands are structured in a way to patronize the elites and the upper echelon of the Nigerian society, here the bands are not structured that way. The bands are basically a regional, zonal thing. So we have a band on the east, we have another band on the central part of the U.S. and another band on the west coast of the U.S. So those 3 bands come together to form what the U.S. calls its national grid. But as I already previously said, each of those bands are made up of tiny, small cooperative electric companies. In my house here, my tiny little 10-bedroom house, we have 50 kilovolts of electricity. That's just me in this house. And then if you multiply that to my neighbors and then the other people who live in the county, you can see. So because you're generating just a small amount, the probability for you to lose power is now smaller. But when you create a monopoly and put people who don't even know what they're doing, and then of course you add the corruption and all of the other roadblocks that Nigeria normally operates in, you make it very difficult to succeed. Now, Nigeria can do better. The minister can certainly do better, but it's not something you can accomplish in 2 weeks, not even in 2 months.
Anyway, the minister, because he's a banker, he's a very experienced banker. So, to count money in the vault.
How does a banker know how to run electricity? So that's why I said that's what I said. You need to leave business for business people and let government manage government things.
Okay, let me stay with you. Let's now start today's conversation. We are looking at Nigeria insecurity. Are we progressing in error? I know that you have been hearing call from your states. In Nigeria, a lot of people that are in US, Canada, UK, people will just call and say, "Oh, my brother just called. Just help me verify. My brother just called me now that they are contributing money to pay ransom." And know that these guys are in Cameroon and they are in Ghana. They are inside the geographical location of Nigeria. Even sometimes they collect the ransom, they do TikTok, video it, show it, and even display a lot of things. So from the other side looking at us here, and Nigeria is a sovereign state. We trust the government, those that are in power will say, okay, I cannot carry arm, but we now say, okay, the government will say your security, your life and property issue should be taken care of by me. But it's a different thing entirely. Do you think we're on the right track based on the information that is coming to you, security-wise, and from your expert as a professional?
I wouldn't say that it is positive. It's not. I know that, yes, the administration met insecurity when it came on board. So we should give them credit for that. They did not create the insecurity. It's been there. However, I would say that the administration has not invested enough time nor energy in addressing the insecurity. I'll give you one example. When America claimed they sent a bomb to Nigeria, it went to the wrong location. The Northwest is not where it's not a hub of insecurity in Nigeria. It should have gone to where it needs to go, which is the Northeast, or maybe even the North Central. So from looking at things from here, Nigeria is not taking the security issues seriously. Last time I was in Nigeria, you had BVN, you had NIN, you had I forgot all the different roadblocks. All the different roadblocks that are put in place for citizens. So the reason I'm bringing that up is that the terrorists and the jihadists themselves, they all have cell phones. You can see if you watch their YouTube videos, they all have cell phones. They use money. I'm pretty sure they're not carrying the money in their pocket. Nigerian money is not the kind of money you carry in your pocket. So those monies are in certain banks. So those monies are traceable. The government is not investing enough time. Yes, the military is trying their best, but even the military is inadequate in the sense that how do you tell us on one day that you've killed 60 bandits and then the next day those same 60 bandits comes and kidnap children from school or kidnap people from churches or mosques? So enough time and energy is not being invested in it. So for me, my solution is Nigeria should have negotiated with America. I would be the first in line to ask the president, Tinubu, to give Sambisa Forest to Americans, dash them Sambisa Forest, tell them to take it over for the next 50 years, and in exchange, ask America to provide full security guarantees, almost similar to what it's doing for Israel, in exchange, and you will see insecurity will disappear. There are people that are financing insecurity in Nigeria. The government, whether it be tribalism, whether it be religion, whether it be selfishness, is just not paying enough attention to it. While the current administration did not start insecurity, because they are not paying attention to it, it is proliferating. It is increasing and getting worse.
Now, you know, I know, everybody know that there's serious logistic involved for you to commit crime. There's logistic involved for you to commit crime. What do you think we should do that the security agency, particularly the police that are in charge of our internal security, should be able to frustrate this guy about all the logistics involved in committing crime? Because you see this guy on bike, you see them on healers, you see them, they engage in some consumable. They eat, they drink water, they look for woman, they spend money, they go to, if possible, they go to party. In fact, they do everything that we do. So what do you think we should do? Because as a student of criminology, we will tell you that the first thing you do is to, what are those logistics involved in crime? To do everything possible to make sure that it becomes difficult. But this guy, they do anything as if, it's like they have their own sovereignty inside the sovereignty.
Well, so that's a point that I'm making, that the government seems to only focus on the military aspect of fighting insurgency. It has to be attacked from all sides, right? So yes, without money, they won't be able to buy arms. The arms themselves come in from somewhere. Somebody is importing them, and they're not importing just one, right? It is coming in containers.
Someone supply them for their vehicle.
Somebody supplying fuel. So there are so many things that they do that the government can track. So while tackling insecurity in a comprehensive way is, not that easy, you cannot just focus on one. You have to go after them at all angles, beginning with the sponsors. Nigeria knows the sponsors of terrorism, right? And the people you see on the videos, the people that actually go out to do, those are the hungry young boys, the foot soldiers. They are not the ones orchestrating or sponsoring it. Somebody else is sponsoring it in order to continue to create chaos. And the first thing you do is to cut off their supply. You freeze their accounts. That's the first thing you do. And I'm not talking about just accounts within Nigeria. A lot of these monies flow from places like Dubai, right? So you can trace the money. I recommend you follow the money. And if you follow the money, you'll see that it is very easy to take care of this insurgency. I'll give you one example. When the tiny little insurgency started back in Rivers State, and this was back when Governor Amechi was the governor of Rivers State. If you notice the way he approached it, it quickly died down, not because he was an expert, but because he confronted it immediately. So once we start wringing our hands and saying, "I pray to God," or "We have God," that is not. Those are stupid strategies to use to apply to insecurity. So for Nigeria to do it, they must fight on all fronts beyond military. They have to go after the finances. They have to go after those people. They have kids in school. Their kids go to school. Their wives live in neighborhoods, shop in markets. So there are ways you approach it, and it can be done. Police is busy harassing people on the streets, taxi drivers and ordinary motorists. Why don't you post all of them to Northeast Nigeria? Let them go over there and harass people on the street so they can see the difference. So there are other things that can be done, but I don't think the government is prioritizing insecurity. If they do, you'll see a difference.
But how do you feel too, watching from that side, looking at us? You can hear that a lot of people have died in Kaduna, or people have been killed in Kaduna, or Zamfara, or Taraba, maybe in Ogun State, or in Edo State. You see campaign going on, you see party going on. We are busy with other things and say, "Oh, this is being sponsored by enemy of the government," and the rest of them. This kind of thing, maybe did it happen in US?
No, there are people who do plot things here. That there's no question about that. So no matter where in the world you are, there are people that have criminal mindset. There are people that have vices. However, as I previously said, if you don't tackle it immediately, then it will exacerbate. It will grow wings and grow legs and begin to overwhelm you. So of course here in the US, I live in the state of Virginia. Um, we are everybody has the ability to buy their own guns, right? So how does a cattle rearer in northern Nigeria is able to afford an AK-47, yet a PhD holder in southwest Nigeria or a business mogul in southeast Nigeria is not able to find gun? So you can see that disparity. So that's one aspect of the weakness that you have. So here, it's not that we don't have criminals and it's not that we don't have people with criminal mindset here, but because you don't know what I'm carrying, you will behave yourself. But in Nigeria, the cattle rearer has the gun, whereas the person that is in their car in Shomolu or somebody driving down
or in
on
the
a
farm.
Tamato,
Someone in the farm did not have
or in the farm, a common farmer has no protection. So the bandits can override you. But if they know that you have the same gun that they have, they'll have to think twice. If they know that your intent on protecting yourself, your property, or your family is as serious as they are, they will think twice. But the way things are in Nigeria now, it's like the marauders are the ones that have been armed, and they are the ones that have the armaments, whereas the innocent and ordinary general public have no access to those things, therefore cannot even defend themselves. And even the police that are there are not themselves fully equipped to even defend you. So that will be the contrasting difference. Here, I have the ability to purchase arm, and because I do, you cannot just walk into my property to attack me for any reason whatsoever.
Thank you very much. Ngozi, thank you very much. I have my very wonderful sister joining us who is inside the studio. Thank you. All right. Okay. Let's quickly go to Kaduna. Comrade Tanko, you listen to our Oga Chuks. It's everybody now. You for don't get AK-35, AK-52 self instead of AK-47. But you are a non-state actor, and you are, particularly you are in Southern Kaduna. Share some of your experience with us. The other day, some people go to church, they were kidnapped, there was denial. Later, people now apologize and say, okay, we didn't know that. And he continued. This guy will still go again. They can kidnap from left. While we are complaining about the kidnapping in the left, they go to the right and kidnap. We complain the right, they go to the front. How do you manage in Southern Kaduna?
Well, it is unfortunate that from the initial, like Mr. Chief said, once these students were not able to meet at their infant stage, then it has escalated to a stage whereby even the state actors are not able to meet it the way it is expected. Years back, we were not able to meet the proliferation of small and medium arms from circulating within the country. And it got to a stage whereby they started using sophisticated weapons, using RPGs, grenades, landmines, AK-47, AK-49, and other host of arms to perpetrate all these evils. But when it still bounces back to government lack of political will and commitment to end terrorism and this banditry in Nigeria. From the initial, this present government, or let's say the APC, were accused of coming up with these people on board in 2012, 2013, 2014 to undermine the government of President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. We are told they were brought as a militia to fight a war once Goodluck Jonathan wins election in 2015. And different revelations came up from different people, different personalities, accusations within elites, but we government till today has not taken any of these issues seriously. If government claims to have list of sponsors of terrorism for moral sake, what stops this government from publishing the names of these people, try them in court, prosecute them, and see if at least the financiers, the link, whichever way these monies are being trafficked down to the bushes or which bank or whether they come in foreign currency. Once you are able to prosecute these people or bring them on board, I think it's an effort to end insecurity. But like you said earlier, how we are coming up with this in Southern Canada. Well, insecurity everywhere has become like government policy. That they work side by side with government, and then today these people are being kidnapped. Tomorrow these ones are released. Next tomorrow others are being killed. You know, they have changed pattern now. What they are doing now is no longer standing or maybe putting roadblocks on the road and then kidnap people from their vehicles on this axis. They have resorted to going from house to house. You're sleeping, come and knock or bundle your door, your burglary, come in, pick whoever they want to pick and go away with them. But unfortunately, I've seen scenarios whereby the DSS is able to track, government critics, I've been people who are advocating for social justice. They will track them wherever they are, and they pick them. I'm an example. I knew when I was picked from Kafanchan to Kaduna around 1 a.m., with handcuffs because I criticized government. I was detained in DSS custody for 6 days, just for criticizing government. And the person that led that team told me different places where they are able to track me. Even the last saloon I went before I went back to my house, and they came with guns, two hillocks, as if they came to arrest a terrorist kingpin. So if government can have such, swift actions on innocent, harmless citizens, what stop government from, ending insecurity?
Comrade Tango, sorry for cutting. That time that they came with 2 healers to come and arrest you in Kaduna, how many go in your armory? Because they need to be prepared very well. How many guns do you have in your armory? How many grenades do you have?
Only my pen and my phone and possibly spoons that I use in eating food. That's all.
Yeah.
So even when they were taking me in the car, handcuffed, I told them in the car, you mean you all came to pick me, an harmless person with just my pen and phone? I told them, I said, this is an embarrassment. Did you come to arrest Shekau or another terrorist kingpin? There were no answers. All they did was just to shut me down, which I told them, well, the highest you can do is just to shoot me in the bush and then dump my corpse there and go away. But certainly some of you will die one day. So that was just the message. But I think I cannot excuse the government of President Tinubu for not ending insecurity just because they didn't bring it. The APC government have been accused of sponsoring these terrorists. So I can see why the president is completely complicit about ending terrorism. Recently, we saw the chief of the defense staff excusing these terrorists. Last month, we saw the national security advisor excusing these terrorists. So for God's sake, if a government is giving excuses on terrorism, kidnappers and bandits, what else? How do you describe that government? End it? Only God knows what the answers are.
Now let's look at Sata Kaduna. Everywhere is calm for now.
Well, it is relatively calm, not really calm. Kidnappings, pockets of kidnappings are still going here and there, and then ransoms are still being paid. People are still losing their lives. It is just not in the mainstream media like I told you the other time. Information are being concealed. Government is paying huge sums of money for PR to conceal information regarding kidnappings and then bandit activities, and within the northern state entirely. That is what is happening with this government. I am telling you, this is not exaggerated. These are empirical facts. That is what government is doing. They are paying huge sums of money to just create an impression that the government is actually doing better than the previous government. But honestly speaking, there is no tremendous or visible improvement like people assume it is happening. Kidnappings and killings are still going on.
Now, you recommended that there are some people that need to be taken care of or put on one foot. Maybe government listening to you. I think if you look at some of the allegations against your former governor, Malam Nasiru El-Rufai, from EFCC to DSL, from ICPC, we show that government listening to a person like you, that people that have some question to answer should be able to although I give you opportunity for his mother's because of his mother's burial. Is that a good approach to the issue?
Well, the detention of Malam Nasser El-Rufai has nothing to do with the plight of the common man. It has nothing to do with some of the accusations leveled against him, in the past. This is an elitist clash. It's about the personality of the ruling class. It is about what favors them or what is not going to favor them. It is about winning election in 2027. Well, Malam Nasser El-Rufai, in his own capacity, did his best when he was governor of Kaduna State. I remember how many times he kept on crying, shouting, going to Asoro, telling government that these people should be killed wherever they are. There should be no negotiation. There should be no ransom payment. At a point he suggested that if you can trace just few, victims in the kidnappers, then maybe one, two, or three, and you feel just because of them you cannot, you let these people go. Why not just bomb everybody and use those ones as collateral damage to see maybe they can stop a larger crime in the future? So he has done his best. We know how he had a lot of conflict with people like Mamandora, then where they had to, at some point, block him from seeing the president. He was all over the media complaining about all this. So I think to an extent, we can excuse some of his accusations because we saw him making effort publicly, writing against this. Unlike the one we have today, who is paying huge sums of money to conceal information against the criminality of these bandits. So I think his arrest and detention has nothing to do with insecurity or the plight of the common man. It's about winning 2027 election. And so I don't really give cognizance to whatever excuses they are giving about his detention, or maybe we are moving forward or moving backward. We are still within that vicious cycle, going round and round and round. Things keep repeating itself. And if our laws now are having a cloud of using emotions to, excuse somebody from detention to attend his mother's burial, then it shows how unserious we are. Then it has also further revealed that his detention was unlawful and it was only politically motivated. There are no crimes leveled against him that are not bailable. All the noise the ICPC have been making, at the end of the day, the 10-count charge, if you look at them, even a layman knows all those available election offenses, but he was kept for over 40 days. So you can see how serious a nation can be.
Yeah, but because they said the reason why he's not part of this government or be a minister was because for security report or security reason. We should that maybe it is now the now say, okay, those files have get to the appropriate quota or agency for them to actually investigate him and punish him if found guilty.
A serious nation should give details of the security challenges level against him. These things should not be hidden. If they decide to hide it, then probably the president is as guilty as such. Like I told you some few weeks ago. You see, this issue of insecurity has a lot of faces that you can hardly pinpoint and say this is the actual face of insecurity. But one thing I know for sure, like we said from the Building Back Generation Next, we held a press conference last year, August, whereby we suggested that the National Security Advisor should be sacked or replaced by somebody who is not from the Fulani ethnic extraction. Whether you like it or not, I said it categorically, this ethnic sympathy must play out. And we see it playing out every day. When General Christopher Musa was appointed as the chief of defense staff, we saw complete shift from the former system whereby we will only be hearing these people have been neutralized here and there. But we saw feasible killings, arrest of these bandits. The pro-northern states were celebrating, jubilating, knowing fully that he took the fight to their dens. He took it to their, destinations. But immediately he was taken off, being accused of being part of whatever about this clue plotting or whatever, he was taken away. Immediately he was taken away, these things has returned. So you can see the trick. If somebody was somebody unhappy or uncomfortable that he was winning the fight, and then their business was being truncated, or it was just a systemic failure, it has a lot of faces that, honestly speaking, the common man like me here cannot actually trust, but we only speak on what we see and know and understand at a particular time.
Now, Honorable Comrade Tanko, still staying with you. In fact, when the Malam Nuhu Ribado name was announced as an NSA, in fact, everything I do now was not disappointed. I told one of my friends, Nigeria will get it wrong for making him NSA, because from what NSA is like, you are not supposed to be politically correct, but this is a person that is a bit he want to be politically correct all the time. Is when you say national security advisor, sometimes you can even tell the president, Mr. President, this thing you can't do it. But I'm not seeing him having that courage because of maybe some future ambition. But let's leave that story for another, because he follow president. While we're having issue here, he follow president to go and see our king, King Charles, and he's supposed to be here to say, okay, president, don't worry, I'm taking care of situation here. But it's at least to be on the chart. Is it chariot? About how they call it now? To road on the chariot. That one should be better than being Maduguri. Okay, and do selfie. How do you feel that Kaduna has almost all the critical security agency, training school for military, but Kaduna is facing a lot of it, like Kaduna is on siege. How do you feel with all those security, how do you call it, facility, security formation in Kaduna, but these bandits, these criminals can have the courage to come and be doing what they are doing?
Let me tell you, many communities in Kaduna State are still displaced. They cannot return to their communities. They cannot go to farm. There are reports where these people are seen. They know where they live. They see them on a daily basis. Like villagers will tell you, don't go to that extent, a particular extent. Those people are living there. There are communities whereby they have evacuated. The government have evacuated the people from there, taking them to IDP, and then these criminals are the ones residing and living in the homes of the owners of the community, carrying out their crimes with their cows. They go to neighboring villages, attack and come back, and then government is not doing anything. So it's a clear business. Government is involved in this, whether you take it or leave it. I am not accusing government directly, but it is very, very clear that government is involved. If you have a list of sponsors of terrorism and you cannot publish or arrest these people, and still these kidnappers are still collecting ransom, not just ransom. There are communities whereby these terrorists are collecting taxes, they are collecting levies, government is aware, the police is aware, every security outfit you think of Nigeria, they are aware. But the highest we see is the police have become professional extortionists, whereby they man roadblocks by 7 p.m., collecting money from Okada people, harassing motorists, and people who are harassing pedestrians, and they take it to their DPO and share their P&G or whatever. That is what the police has reduced itself to in Nigeria. And you cannot talk. Because from the last corporal to the commissioner, all of them are involved in this business and they know them. They see them on the road on a daily basis while the criminals are operating freely in our bushes, killing people in their homes, in their sleep, collecting levies and taxes in communities where even people can trek from local government headquarters and reach those places, but nobody is arresting anybody. We have seen people, government going to say we have rescued so people, but there is no particular rescue mission that has ever came out with saying, yeah, we rescued 20 people and arrested the kidnappers. No kidnapper has ever been arrested from any rescue mission. Now you begin to ask yourself, how do they rescue these people? Is it a negotiation? Do they tell them, okay, leave them, go to so place, we are coming to pick them, then next tomorrow you go to another community and pick those people so that we take credence? It has a lot of faces that you cannot explain and say exactly this is where the problem is. It is very, very unfortunate that at this point I can't even explain exactly what is going on in Nigeria. And I believe Nnamdi Kanu for citing that Nigeria is a zoo. It is really a zoo, unfortunately. I'm sorry to say. But I think Nnamdi Kanu gave a clear description of what is happening today.
But Tanko, if you're a zoo, if you go to zoo, the animal they are very civilized. They are very civilized. You don't see monkey, you don't see lion that is not hungry killing another animal. It's only when lion is hungry that you want to kill the entablo. If not, if lion is not hungry, entablo can be moving up and down. We'll just be looking at. But because it's beyond that, because when you see this guy, you just kill another person, and you even show to us that you are the one responsible for the killing, doing selfie and the rest of that. But let me quickly send you another link. Same to Oga Chuks. I'm sending you another link now because this one is saying that you want to go. Let me stay with
we'll stand by.
Yeah, okay. Mr. Oga Tokwe, you were here. I was thinking I was supposed to see you in UK which day, but that is a story. What do you think we should do that some of these things that Tanko is saying from Kaduna should not enter our place? How do we take this thing serious? That Nigeria is a sovereign state. You cannot try the state power.
Well, I think this thing is having a pattern that is very unique, and everybody already knows about how they operate. And I don't think anything new is happening. It's just the regular pattern. But the real problem is the government inability to take a stand, a firm stand on what they want to do. They are not
the other
decisive.
day, the NSA was in Jaws and said enough is enough. Sometime last year.
It's not about the rhetoric of speaking. You know, it has become a norm that when these people become victimized, like Nigerians become victimized by the terrorists and those people that are in that category, the government officials will speak their regular English and they'll go back to the drawing board and nothing happens. And the funny thing is, when the troops make gains by arresting some of these guys, I don't understand where we want to convert an ideological terrorist into a repentant person that will now be integrated to a normal society. Possibly they don't understand what ideology does to human. When people have indoctrinated minds, there is no amount of things you say that will change their innermost conviction. And that is why the government is the only power that can destroy them. And that is based on the fact that for every actions, there must be consequences. And now we are talking about criminal activities. What is the consequences for the actions? And what have we done to implement those consequences? And that is why they are thriving, and that is why they continue to gallivant from one place to another. You think they are not here already. They are already here. And it takes some of this
God
time.
forbid that too.
See, I'm telling you the truth now. And the truth is, they are already surrounding us. The source of most of these banditry are the Almajiri system of education, where people will give birth to more than enough kids that will not be taken care of, that will not be well tutored, that will not be trained, that don't have a feeling of how the society should look like. They don't share love among them. They have never been loved. They have never seen where people show love to each other. So it's very easy for them to be brutal. What they have grown up to become is around the concept of survival of the fittest. I've gone to the north at different times, and before you even finish eating, you see them surrounding you. And immediately you leave slight food in your plate and stand up, they will fight over it. They will struggle to just get those crumbs. So they have been living in such an environment right from childhood. And the system was designed to make them look stupid. And they become people that will constitute nuisance in the larger society. And at the end of the day, they become jobless and they can be recruited for anything.
Talk people will say that people like you that is causing this problem for us.
How?
Because you are a politician.
Yes.
And I know that education is liberation.
Yes.
Today, in fact, before there was some student in Unilag that me and some group of people, we just arranged to be helping them in terms of their school fees.
Yes.
And the school because the school fee was less than 30,000 then.
Then.
As I'm talking to you, we have to beg them and withdraw because the school fee minimum for Unilag is not less than 350,000 naira. Minimum. Not that these children, their family income have increased and the rest of them. We have to beg them and say, oh God, we cannot continue. Even we not that you. Some people that used to give to people, they are now expecting. They are now expecting.
Yes. From
people. So you politician, you promise heaven and earth. To even scratch the earth, it becomes a different
because
thing.
You are not voting the right people that really see. The problem is the masses. Many a time you just look at what is the percentage of people that are really playing active politicking. The problem is the masses that are not really educated enough to understand their civic rights and responsibilities. It is only in Nigeria that we see people not turning out en masse to vote against what they hate. And at the end of the day, they will still come and blame politicians who already understand that every 4 years, people have the opportunity to vote them out. Sometimes they will rig you. See, it is only because you give the room for rigging. Look at a country like Turkey. I want to use that as an example. They have close to 90% of people that are registered voters turning out to come and vote. So how do you rig such a system? Even in Lagos here, during the last election, when people came out en masse for the presidential election, even the incumbent president lost in his own very strong domain. In Abuja, the past president that is now late lost in Abuja because people came out. See, the truth is we should not allow these people to intimidate us with their stories that they are going to rig it, whether you like it or not. No, it is because we don't know that the franchise we have should be executed to the latter. And if we can do that, we can always, and we have the fear. Anybody that goes there, we have the fear that the way we voted him in mass, we can always vote him out in mass, and he will be able to do things that are making sense to the common man. Many of the policies that are being operated now are not making sense to the masses. It is more of the elite that
is causing it.
It is
For example, if you want to contest this year,
I have contested the last.
Maybe
election.
you already buy some bag of rice now. You are going to share rice. Yes or yes.
I'm not sharing rice. It's rice.
Okay, you will share beans.
I'm not sharing beans. And that is where
you
the
share
problem
bread.
lies.
You give bread 500 or give 500.
That's where the problem is. Right. They are even sharing as low as tin tomato. It's as bad as they are sharing noodles.
But this should
It's as bad as
now
that.
let me advise you. Since you people must share rice, as you are sharing rice, share turkey, share chicken, share.
So it doesn't solve the. It's only
only
solve
rice.
the
Only
problem.
rice
It
will
doesn't
not
solve.
solve.
See, Mr. Joseph, it doesn't solve the problem. Like I said, they are not really ready to do.
Who is not ready?
The government is not ready.
But if you know you are not ready, why not tell them to be ready?
I've been on this for several years. You know, more than 2 decades I've been actively participating in Nigerian politics, and I've been very vociferous in my stance against many things. Even what is happening. We know this model, security model they are operating is not going to be fruitful. And they continue to use it because people that are of, I don't know, they have this clandestine interest in what is happening. They are the one fueling the model to continue so that they can sell outdated guns to our own soldiers. They can have a way of making the system through they are killing people, you have to bring money, they are killing people. They are not really fighting it to a standstill. And this thing is not really hard. There should be consequences for action. Immediately you involve yourself in this, that means you are ready to face the action. If you are caught, execute them. I mean, for me, I don't see reason.
Do you know
how many people that are on death row?
And the governor know they sign.
They are not signing.
People like you will not sign.
I will sign. I'm sorry.
You will not sign. When you become governor, you will not sign.
You just try me now. Try me and you will see.
Ngozi will sign when you become governor.
I will sign because unless it is not confirmed that the person is a criminal.
Okay, let's hear from Ngozi.
Okay, good morning. My name is Faithfulness Woke, actually. My Igbo name is Ngozi. So I have a question to ask, and this one is in a general theme. Like, could some policies or actions be contributing to insecurity in Nigeria, both intentionally and unintentionally?
Is that for you?
Yes, so many policies. I've said something around. Look at during Jonathan era, he tried to bring all these nomads into a regular school system that will fit their orientation.
Yeah, that have been even in my primary.
So these things are not. But where are those investments now? It has gone down the drain. Nobody is operating it again. But immediately the Buhari regime or administration came in, they just closed it down technically. It became something that was a wasted effort. And they saw it more of is patronizing the North so that they can vote for him. They are not looking at it from the point of view that this is education. Education is something that gives you that global view to seeing lights in darkness. So they are not seeing it from that perspective. They are politicizing everything. And today, I saw a video, I think 2 days ago, during this our last Ramadan Eid, where these terrorists went to pray. They gathered in a particular location. All of them carrying guns. They are doing also. I was like, okay, are you telling me government does not have that opportunity, that device, that very strong military equipment to understand that these people are gathered there and just kill them once and for all? Even if few escape, like I said, escapes, they will not be having that effrontery to go and regroup easily. The way, so it's something that is very appalling when you see some of these things. And you tell me government, see, if you abuse government on this radio station now, before, this is, I don't know, look at the time now.
This
before
14 past 8.
Before 8:30, you understand that there is government. Because this place will be surrounded. They have all those apparatus, the paraphernalia to do. But there are some people that have sinister motive behind all this nonsense that is going on. And if it continues to go on, there's nothing we can do than to continue to advocate for a change in governance, in government, so that when we have the opportunity, put somebody. See, we are not talking about the person will be brutal. When you are brutal against somebody that is brutal against your the society, I don't think it's a crime. I think that is justice. Even God is threatening us with hellfire. Why Why is God? God is merciful.
Okay,
God is this. Why is He threatening us with fire? Because that is consequence for action.
Let me come
Make
to
your own
Ogachu.
decision.
Ogachu, you listen to some of us here, and I know that they see you smiling because you could just look at Donald Trump is even going to Iran that is not very, very distant to go and find trouble, not to talk of person coming to US. Say you now you keep person and you do selfie, you collect ransom, you do selfie. Donald Trump will ask a question. He will ask Peter, this guy, this is Secretary of War. He will ask, Mr. Man, I mean, not like your work again. Do you see that video? And I know that they will do forensic investigation of that video and they will follow them. Ogachu, what do you think we should do that we should only put this criminal on one foot? It's as if they are becoming our own customer. Just like what my guest is saying here, experience from Tanko. If any of us say anything before you reach house, if you turn to water, they turn you back to Umabi, say this water, now just say, now turn to water now. We have mechanism to check him back. But me, I no get power. Our tomorrow, from experience of why should you carry this Ogatango? He don't even boss card go arrest him. Why should you carry 2 in-laws to go arrest him? Ogachu.
Well, so the one major thing when it comes to fighting terrorism or fighting insurgency, the most critical element that you need in fighting it is intelligence gathering and intelligence sharing. So as Honorable Tokwe just, I believe that's who was speaking last, mentioned about if you insult government, the radio station would be surrounded. That is true. And what you will find is that the reason insurgency and terrorism continues to exacerbate in Nigeria is because the government is only focused in one area. Terrorism involves collaborative compact that comes together and binds together. So you have to do it in so many different ways. And one particular area that Nigeria is not attending to is called addressing underlying grievances. The Almajiri system is actually what is promoting terrorism in Nigeria. But nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about it for one reason or another, perhaps because it involves religion, perhaps because it involves certain tribes. But if you go to the Middle East, if you go to parts of Southern Asia, where they actually have more Muslims than in Nigeria, you will not see Almajiri practiced the way it is practiced in Nigeria. In fact, I have gone on record, on several occasions to state, and I stand to be corrected, that the the Islamic religion practiced in Nigeria, especially in the north of Nigeria, is of a primitive nature, because you won't even find it in the Middle East, not in Saudi Arabia, not in Iran, not in Pakistan, not in Lebanon. You go to any part of the Middle East, the way they practice Islam is not how it is practiced in Nigeria. So for some reason, we have adulterated our own method of Islam. So the Almajiri system is the underlying feeder to the terrorism issue. Now, so that's number one. Number two is the financial aspect to it. Once you start paying ransom, once you start doing secret negotiations, governors, local government chairmen doing their own negotiations with bandits, you now give others the incentive to increase the same, because everybody wants money. Everybody's hungry. I don't know who in the world is not interested in money. I mean, if money is like that, Dangote would not be looking for new businesses, right? Alakeja won't be looking for new businesses. Adeleke won't be looking for new businesses, right? So money is very important to everybody, even to the poorest man. So the moment you start paying terrorists whether you're doing it secretly or publicly, you are creating incentive for them to multiply. So Nigeria must take care of the issue by fighting it on all fronts. And the third pillar that I didn't mention is law enforcement, right? Yes, I know the judiciary is weak. Yes, I know the police take bribe. Yes, I know that other law enforcement apparatus in Nigeria. But the point is, when some of these bandits are caught, they are treated with kid gloves. Let's take a look at the amount of time, energy, money, and seriousness that Nigeria invested in capturing Nnamdi Kanu or making sure that his groups in the southeast were decimated. If Nigeria applies that same effort in the northeast or north central or northwest, trust me, terrorism won't be as high as it is right now. So you cannot have a double standard where you know how to fight when it comes to a certain group or certain tribe, but then when it involves other groups or other tribes, you tend to look the other way. So the solution to the insurgency in Nigeria is not military alone. The military is trying their best, but other things need to be. The banks, is there any reason the banks are not being required to report? You know, here in the United States, if I move my own personal money, $10,000, let's say from account A to move it to account B, I get reported to the FBI automatically, quietly. Nobody knows. The bank is required to report the movement of money over a certain amount. If you walk into the United States today carrying cash, and they ask you how much cash you're carrying, and you fail to declare it, they'll seize the money from you. Do you know how many Ghana must goes through Nigerian airports, and the money just walks away just like that? So there are other aspects of fighting the terrorism that Nigeria is not focused on, which is the reason it is escalating. So they must fight the financial front. On the Almajiri, for example, if my kids who are school age don't go to school for over a week, the school automatically reports me. The police will come to the house and knock on the door to ask where the kids are. So why would you go and have children that you cannot manage or have children that you cannot train and set them out on the streets to go hungry? Because they are the ones who now go and join these terrorist and jihadist camps. So Nigeria needs to do more than focusing on the military or the law enforcement side. And then when you catch them, the judiciary needs to take care of them. There's no point in telling us you're rehabilitating. How do you rehabilitate a terrorist? How do you rehabilitate a terrorist?
You rehabilitate and integrate them into FBI. now, choose. Let me just stay with you. Can we now partially conclude that some of this security challenge is organized crime? Everybody, you just have the other people who will do it. Then at the end of the day, it's possible that a lot of people benefit. Hello?
Joseph, I think you got cut off at the last end there. What was your question?
I said, can we now say that this is an organized crime? Because if the people are doing this thing and nobody is if Joseph cough, they say, Joseph, the way you cough is treason. I know the other day that some children protested for hunger strike. They were charged for treason. They were arrested on them. But these guys are there, and they are not hiding it. Because I know that Nigeria is a sovereign state. You cannot have a sovereign activity inside a sovereign state. So can we now say that it's like organized crime? What is going on?
Yes, it is certainly, it's not only an organizer, or rather it's not only a criminal enterprise, there's also double standard, right? So that's why I was giving you the example with Nnamdi Kanu. That same ferocity needs to be applied up north, right? And I'm certainly not a fan or supporter of Nnamdi Kanu, and I'm glad that he was arrested and prosecuted. But there are other people who are making the same kinds of statement that he was making. There are people brandishing gun in front of us, and they seem to go scot-free for one reason or another. So the arm of justice need to be applied to all. Yes, Malam El-Rufai is currently facing his own music. Fine, prosecute. If you find him guilty, penalize him. If you find him not guilty, release him. But you cannot treat one person one way, and then when it comes to other people, you want to treat them differently. So those that are participating in this enterprise, if they know that the consequences are grave, trust me, they will move on. They will move away. They will go somewhere else. They will go to Sudan or Somalia or somewhere, right? The only reason you're seeing it increasing in Nigeria is because government seem to be only interested in issuing press releases, traveling abroad, taking more Chinese loans. Those are not strategy. They are not strategy. They are not going to help the situation. The situation can only be helped by attacking it in a way that neutralizes all the various elements that are involved beyond carrying the gun.
You told us here that because the people that have criminal intention know that coming to your house is very risky, because you only possess something that may be higher than what they possess or equivalent to what they possess.
Yeah.
What do you think the state could do now that it's as if the federal government agency close to helpless, the state governors, local government chairman, what do you think they should do within the little resources that they have in helping their citizens?
I wouldn't say they have little resources. I think every governor in Nigeria, to the best of my knowledge, collects a security allocation. I don't know if it's made public, but I do know that for a fact, that every state governor in Nigeria receives something called a security allocation. And for the amount of money that they receive, yeah, of course, maybe a tiny little state might not get the same as the bigger states, right? Based on the population of Lagos, for example, you cannot compare their population with other small places like in Zamfara or Gwangwala, right? But every state does get that security allowance. What needs to happen is there needs to be of cooperation. The federal government should not be doing this all by themselves. There need to be a state support. There needs to be a local government support. So if you go back to my point earlier that intelligence gathering and intelligence sharing is the most critical element in fighting terrorism. And unless you engage the local government, unless you engage the traditional council of chiefs, for example, including churches, even here, churches will report you. Yes, we're praying, but while we pray, they can still do other things. Right? If you take a nation of Israel, for example, they pray to God, but they don't rely on God to fight their war for them. They go out there and they fight for themselves. Right? If you look at how many aircrafts the Nigerian Air Force have lost in the last, I would say maybe since 2021, Nigeria have lost over 14 or 15 aircraft. How many aircraft have Israel lost? They fight every day. They fight almost on a yearly basis. There's something going on. I mean, have you ever heard of their aircraft crashing? So we need to have a targeted. It's not something It's not something you just do one and you walk away and then you wonder why there was no solution. It has to be targeted. And yes, federal government, state government, local government, traditional chiefs, the churches, the mosques. You have all these women association, men association, even market people. It needs to be a coordinated effort. Once you can get all the intelligence gathering and start sharing them, believe it or not, people know where these other people live. People know where they go to school. People know where they worship. People know what hospital or what markets they buy things from. But unless you're coordinating and collecting that information, you will never be able to see where these things are happening.
Okay, Ogachuk.
And by the way, I think I forgot to add that the border of Nigeria, the Nigerian border in the north, is extremely porous, right? from northwest all the way to northeast, the border is extremely porous. You cannot, for example, you cannot drive from Lagos into Benin Republic or from Akwa Ibom into Cameroon as easily as you can go to any of those northern borders and cross over. So that also needs to be fortified because a lot of these insurgents are coming from somewhere else, and somebody needs to mitigate that.
Okay, before I come to Comrade Tanko, Mr. Chus, now, what do you always, because sometimes when I listen to conversation by our leaders on security, I'm close to like...
Has the government said that they are investigating something? And every time they've said that they're investigating something, how many times have they published the outcome of that investigation? So here, over here, information is shared. That's why Donald Trump can do what he likes. He can say what he likes. But believe it or not, within 24 hours, that information is shared. And the more people, the more knowledge that people are armed with, the more they will then respond. So in Nigeria, there continues to be this cloud of secrecy, this shroud of secrecy, where certain things are not shared. Yeah, I understand about national security. Sure, there are certain things you shouldn't share in public, but there are some things that should be very obvious to even an elementary school person. And sometimes it is those elementary school people, the high school people, the market, the traders, the bus conductors. There are things they come in contact with, but they can't share it because you don't have any amenities to collect that information. So those are some of the things we can do. Information needs to be shared openly. Yes, the things that affect national security, you can keep those secret, but there is a lot of information that is not being shared. The government just keeps talking, or promising, but people need to see evidence.
Now, let me come to Comrade Tanko. I know about 2 years ago, a very senior police officer, what I actually did was to help the system. He told me, Joseph, do you know I can implicate you? I said, yes. I told him, yes, but you don't need to do it. Now, you have able to face the consequence of trying to raise some issue in Kaduna under SSS or DSS. Do you think these are a way for them to bully people not to be talking about these things so that the thing will continue to just, the situation will just remain the way it is so that some people will be benefiting? Comrade Tanko.
Well, yeah, I think they bully people, you know, to hide their youth from coming to the public there, and then other benefits we cannot get, you know, are also inclusive. But I think in overly, government actions have been repulsive all these years because we have not really seen a shift from what is obtainable in the past. And when we talk about information or intelligence gathering, I don't think if government failure today is as a result of lack of proper intelligence gathering or information. Because, like I said earlier, these guys are known, their locations are known, you know, their movements are being tracked, you know, and some of them, their family members are known, are also known to the security agents. But there is this huge compromise already due to massive corruption from all angles in Nigeria. That from the least to the topmost, everybody is looking for money, not minding the consequences that lies ahead. And I will use northern Nigeria as a reference. You know, 70 to 80% of these problems are from northern Nigeria, you know, being perpetrated by northern Muslims. You know, the average northern Muslim from northern Nigeria does not even believe in the veracity of the Nigerian constitution. They only believe in Islamic law. They place the Quran above the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That is why within the sovereignty of Nigeria, they also operate their own sovereignty, whereby they enact laws that are detrimental to people from other states and they go scot-free with it, harassing people, detaining people, embarrassing, killing, you know, try to bring them together, teach them formal and Islamic education side by side in a way they will understand that formal education is needed. And the more you have formal education, the more you understand the difference between the Islamic primitive education, and that would serve as a guide. But immediately President Buhari came on board, they frustrated this program. Now, ask yourself, why did the government of President Buhari, who is a northerner, frustrated this program? What was his aim, or what is the aim of the Nigerian President Buhari's government then? And today you see the same Northerners are crying foul, insulting, calling President Tinubu all sorts of names, making all sorts of accusations that Tinubu is this, is that, all because they have a particular agenda they are pursuing that has been interrupted, and they feel President Buhari, President Bola Tinubu is not playing along with what the what is not playing along their hidden agenda or public or whatever. But I think he has completely shifted away from what they expected. So it is not really paying them so well. But you see, one thing about Nigeria is you don't have to be politically correct even with security matters. Let's call a state a state. The northern elites who are perpetrators of this crime are not above the law. If you go to Zamfara, I am telling you, the monies made from gold mining in Zamfara, honestly speaking, can solve a lot of problems in Nigeria within 6 months. But these monies are in the hands of individuals, bourgeois from the north, and probably maybe some people in the presidency. I don't know, but I'm sure, because if the presidency is not involved, the security situation in Zamfara state would have been controlled by now. But massive gold, billions of dollars are made that not even taken to the this treasury single account if it is still being operational. But I don't think it is even part of our IGR. They feel they are entitled to resources or mineral resources that comes from the north and other regions cannot enjoy, but they will begin to raise eyebrow on oil money that need to be shared to them every month from the federation allocation account. A lot of things are actually going wrong, and I still blame government. Tinubu have at his age now. I believe Tinubu is above 90 or close to 90 years. That is my personal view. But somebody of this age, I think should have the mindset of setting a precedent, of changing the narratives completely in this country, so that at the end of the day, President Bola Tinubu should be able to write his name in gold. He should deal with most of these northerners who are perpetrating this evil, because they are northerners. They are northern Muslims. You can't take that away from me. People come to TV, come to radio station, and want to sound politically correct, and the problem keeps lingering. The problem keeps skyrocketing, and we have not found any solution because you are trying to save one person or the other. Trying to be politically correct so that you should not be accused. You are avoiding accusations, but the problem has not been solved. Which one is better? I think we should be able to speak out and then leave this thing within the escalating cycle, and then whoever is involved should be brought to book without any fear or favor. Because the double standard is actually deteriorating the situation. Innocent people are becoming victims day in, day out, and government believe in just coming out with press conferences, while those operatives and field workers, combat, agents are also making a lot of millions out of this. So I think the whole issue is cumbersome. And then the only thing that can solve this problem is the political willingness of government to be honest, to be truthful, based on the oath of office
All right. Thank you.
by either a Christian or a Muslim leader, to protect lives and property and ensure proper security of every citizen. I think that is just the solution.
All right. Thank you very much. I will still have Comrade Tanko. We still have Ogachu from US, Comrade Tanko from Kaduna, and Tokwe with us in the studio. And we'll be looking at Nigeria insecurity. Are we progressing in error? I still have Ngozi with us here. Before our people will knock me, before so that we will start picking, listening to from our people. Ngozi have a question too.
Okay. According to what he just explained, I'm trying to ask a question. Like, the problem of this insecurity, is it as a result of those, like, because this insecurity, it is not being tackled like it needs to be tackled? Is it the problem of those around the president? Like, are they the one that is making this insecurity issues to be escalating instead of reducing in the country?
All right. Looking at within the government cycle, doesn't mean the government, the president is not having some information. Because, for example, when our guy follow president go US, UK, he go dey enjoy, as president they enjoy for left, he go dey enjoy for right. While the people in Borno, Kwara, Southern Kaduna, is as if they leave us in the hand of God. And sometimes, if to say God no get strong hand, God for hand for don't tire. But let me start from Tokwe, because Tokwe is a politician here. They are the people that's giving us all this.
See, this thing is just clear. Body language of the leader determines what subordinates do. The body language of the president is about 2027 election. Bring everybody.
But it is we that will cast our vote.
That is why I am telling you that the problem of Nigeria is the masses that are yet to understand the power of their vote. Their franchise to vote out anybody is their liberty, and they are not exercising it right. But if I tell you, if I tell you the government is really giving that body language that shows that they want to combat these criminals, in reality, it's a fallacy.
When you assuming you become governor of Lagos, you swear
within 6 months,
protection of life and property.
Within 6 months, I have a model. If you look at my last campaign, and if I'm going to be on the ballot by this next election too, which we are working with my team, I'm still going to say within 6 months, people that are criminals will run out of Lagos willingly to
people don't talk this one.
People talk up. Okay,
see, Mr. They talk.
I'm not talking. You know me. If politicians they talk, you know me. I'm a principled person. I'm not luxurious. See, where the problem lies. I met when I was under the tutelage.
Let me talk and say, if you know Apple say go resign.
Yes, I'm going to resign. Let me tell you something. I was under the tutelage of late Lateef Jakonde. For 2 years, he trained some of us while he was alive at his Ilukpeju residence. We do go there to ask questions. And one of those things, I've always mentioned it. He said, we asked him how he was able to achieve so much with Miaga resources, and his impact still lives with us till date. He said, 2 things makes anybody that is at the ends of affair to be successful. You have to have willpower, and you have to be contented. That if you don't have the willpower, there are so many things that you will not be able to do because of being politically relevant to some power that be. The second is that you have to be contented. That if you are not contented, immediately they open the vaults of the financial resources of the state, you will lose your mind. And that is why he has just that is one house at Ilukpeju. And it's not very luxurious if you go there. See, if you are not a luxurious person, you know me, I'm not luxurious. My own is, give me the resources.
But that doesn't mean that when you become governor, you give me one in-laws.
That is for this is some of these things, basic necessities. Nobody is saying you should suffer. I'm not suffering as I am. I have a good job. I've never got to the government.
You have a second address.
I'm running my second PhD. So that means I'm doing things based on what I think I needed to just add value to my life. I finished the first one. I'm running the second one. And I'm not flaunting it. I've never flaunted it to anybody. It's because all these things are just for me personally to just develop myself. But we are talking about governance here. Governance has to be about the masses. How do you manage the resources of the state? Within that 4 years or whatever number of period you are given that assignment, manage the resources to make life comfortable for people. Everybody cannot be at the ends of our fear. Everybody cannot be at that seat. But you are there to manage their resources. You are not there to take their resources to different islands where you go and celebrate birthday party for 1 week, and they will be counting millions of naira with somebody's mistress.
Okay, let's listen to our people. Let's listen to our people. The number is one of them is 070-090-390-3903. Or the other one is what?
0817-175-6338. That's the WhatsApp number. You can also send us your messages.
Okay, please just make it like let's do 60 seconds so that we can take many calls. Nigeria insecurity. Are we progressing in error? If you are here in Lagos, you feel not understand. But if you dey where Oga Tanko dey, that way you go know say. Sometimes I know there was a report I was following you, and I asked, does it mean the governor did not know that there are people living there? That one not be road. That one not be road. You can't classify it as road. Let's call it a passage. And people are living there. An election will come, they go there to collect their vote. I'm going to ask Oga Chus before we go that in America, can they do polling unit for IDP camps so that they will vote for? You mean that the IDP camp become a permanent, shall be permanent, or what? People leave their various ancestral home. You say, okay, let's carry IDP camp, follow them to where they are so that they will exercise their franchise. Let's pick this.
Thank you. So before I address your last question, I wanted to, if you give me a moment, to go back to Ms. Ngozi's question about who is advising the president. Oga Joseph, you remember one of my appearance on your show here, I did say that I do not believe that President Tinubu has the right advisors around him. I think this was around when he didn't show up at the United Nations Assembly and he was being criticized, and I happened to be on your show and he had asked me that question, and I said I don't believe he's being advised correctly. So if you go back to the question about insurgency, insecurity, and all of these things, it has to be a coordinated effort. The president cannot do it all by himself. The National Security Advisor cannot do it all by himself. They need intelligence gathering. They need intelligence sharing. So a network has to be created that links up the federal government to the state to the local to the traditional councils in that order, so that even when the president is not home, if he's traveling abroad, as they frequently do, your system and your network continues to work. And this network that I'm talking about also includes the police, it includes the judiciary. That way you're not just relying on just a national security advisor. So the reason the insecurity is not abating, focusing on one tiny little aspect, it has to be an overall coordinated effort. Now, back to your present question. Yes, the camps, they should be able to vote if you have the amenities to allow them to vote. The challenge in Nigeria, and I do sympathize with Honorable Tokbe, by the way, congratulations, because it's not easy running for elections in Nigeria. The election process in Nigeria, I totally agree with him that the masses are slightly to blame. I give 60% of the problem to the Nigerian voter, the electorate, and then 40% to the system, right? So if the camps are structured in a way that the people in the camps have been vetted and all that, sure. And we know that they're citizens and they've applied and they have membership, right? And the membership is not one-sided. So in other words, membership needs to be open to all. It's amazing how in Nigeria people say I'm APC or I'm ADC or I'm NDC. While I'm a Democrat here in the US, the Democratic Party has never really contacted me, right? So here, the election registration is handled at the local government. When you go to renew your driver's license, that's when you do that, right? So the government controls the renewal, then who you vote for is my personal business. So I don't need to show whether I'm carrying APC card or ADC card. No, if APC does a good job, I'll vote for them. If ADC the people in ADC have good credibility, I vote for them.
Yes,
So I don't need
anti-party.
to.
Ogachus, you're involved in anti-parties.
Yes, so I don't need to register into a party to be able to vote for that party. And even though I'm a Democrat, at any moment, if I choose, I can vote Republican if I want. I can vote for independent if I want. So nothing stops me from, because you are a Democrat, you cannot vote. No, the voting part is private and personal. Now, the second part here on the political side is Nigerian political parties have no ideology. The political parties revolve around individuals, right? So, yes, APC right now revolves around Tinubu. Okay. Prior to that, it was Buhari. ADC, I think, is revolving around Atiku, right? So, and if you're running politics based on personalities, then you're not going to be able to manage a complex and complicated country like Nigeria. Okay. So you have to have some solid ideologies on the ground that guides how you do that. So, but I'll stop there. But yeah, those in the camps can vote if the process is made available to them.
All right. Thank you very much, Hello, good morning. Sorry. Oga, sorry for us keeping you waiting. Thank you. Make your
Good morning, yeah.
Good morning, sir.
This is Evangelist Johnson. I'm just eager to contribute this morning because of
thank you very much. Let's do 60 seconds because of time. No verse.
Yeah, it's going to be even shorter than that. I heard one of your members saying that they blame for what is going on in Nigeria 60% or so.
The masses.
Is from the masses. Yes. That's what I wanted to say. Even you that is talking to me now, you are involved. Because what we should be doing now is to educate. Forget about these people. If you like, you talk about these politicians tomorrow or next year this time, they still remain the same thing. It is now that they are running around the whole country to campaign for vote. It is now that we should allocate Nigerian people. Beg them, please. If you turn 18 years old, please go and collect your PPC. So that by 2017, let us flood the street of Nigeria and rescue Nigeria from these people. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
It's here already. So we have to do it and rescue this country. If we continue talking, we'll talk till eternity. Thank you. God continue to bless our country.
Thank you very much.
Amen.
In fact, Ogachos is solidly behind you and say yes. The masses should wake up. Hello, good morning, 60 seconds. Hello, good morning, 60 seconds.
Father, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
My name is Sunday. Very first class.
Your name is what?
Sunday Uzo.
Sunday Uzo, okay. Talk 60 seconds.
No problem, sir. I greet you, all of you in the studio.
Thank you, sir.
Guy from diaspora anyway. One point of view is this. Where one of you there said, when you insult government, I know a lot of people are listening even to your program. But to insult government is very different to insult the truth.
Okay.
They are not the same. Yes, they are not the same.
All right.
This insurgency in Nigeria, if we can talk to ourselves and tell ourselves the truth, government is in past and is going on. And otherwise, this politics, so-called politicians, even me and you, the one who is ruling today, did he won the election? So when we are talking, look like talk to next year, like my brother said, it is going to happen because Nigeria cannot work.
Thank you. Okay, we have a message.
Yeah, we have a message on WhatsApp. Said, good morning, house. We keep hearing these stories every day, yet nothing is happening. Even the media are also benefiting from all of this, because they say bad news sales. Wow. So where do we go from here, please? If you people can do a remix of this broken record, I will appreciate. At least people can be dancing to it rather than only listening. Chingon from Chicago University.
All right, now the person calling very close to Ogachuk's. From Chicago.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. 60 seconds.
Yes, this is Joshua Perkins, former citizen of Nigeria, now retired.
Okay. You retire from citizen of Nigeria. Okay, fire on.
Yes, see the thing that day, See, just like Mr. Tanko said, and just like your Mr. Chinedu from abroad said, it's not that they don't have a system. This government, I don't call them government because government is for the people, by the people, and for the people. See, this current government, they know what is happening. It is not about political will. Let us not excuse the president. Do you know the information the president possesses? If they can be able to track Mr. Tanko, track the other guy that made a comment over Peter Obi, track another one that is planning that the military should come back into power. Do you think they do not know how to track these people? Are you aware that Gumi said that the government knows them by name and by location?
All right. Thank you. I think we lost that call. But we don't. Let me quickly talk. Ogachuk, as we go, Nigeria insecurity, are we progressing in error in 60 seconds?
Yes, we are progressing in error, and the sad situation is we certainly need to educate the masses. But I want to be very clear that educating the masses should not be the job of the government alone. I think I've given you an example in the past, and I'll make that statement here. Even the churches here encourage their congregation to go out to vote. And the churches don't take sides, so you will not see a church that says, oh, I'm only Republican, or a church that says we're only Democrat. They will give you both sides, and then you go and choose which one you want. So churches, mosques, hospitals, schools, you have to educate the masses involves a lot. So leaving it only to the politicians or to the government is not going to work.
Thank you, and thank you very much. Tango, in 40 seconds, if you can help us as we go. Nigerian security, are we progressing in error?
Yes, we are progressing in error because we refuse to detach from recycling strategies and policies. And then now my last advice is to government and to media houses and to the churches. Is based on looking every day. The media and the churches have the responsibility to understand that the office of is the greatest and the highest office in the country. And then the citizens can decide what the future of this country can be. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Oga Tokwe. As we go, 20 seconds, please.
Yes, we are progressing in error like a V. Yes, like a V. When you look at the angle, how a V starts, it's very, very small. But as it progresses, it gets wider and wider and wider. And if we fail to bring that parallel lines back to become parallel or to become one straight line, then we continue to progress in error like we are doing presently. Change this government, and if they don't change the model, we are still going to be on the same wrong track.
Thank you very much. That is Tokwe Abdurazak Balogu. He was an AA candidate for Lagos State governorship race in 2023. And Comrade Isaac Tanko, National Secretary, Middle Belt Generation. Next, an equally public affairs analyst, an advocate for good governance, not to talk about very wonderful brother who don't want to sleep the sweet, but he sacrifice it and say, no, this country must be better. I'm talking of no other person than Chuk Eleanor. Is a program management expert, a community organizer or mobilizer, a political analyst, and not only that, is a security and IT expert. Oga Chuks, I beg, we are still going to do this again. I want us to be doing what we call community mobilizing toward the election. I know it's going to be yes or yes. It's a yes or yes. All right, this is how we end the show, Ngozi. We'll be here Saturday by the special grace of God.
Yeah.
You know, it's Nigeria. Are we progressing in error? If we are progressing in error, I think let's apply the brake and quickly know what to do, because Nigeria, we must ensure that issue of safety and security given serious priority. My name is Joseph Folorenshaw. If I offended you, forgive me. Security agency, all of us, we are all Nigeria. We are all stakeholders in this country. Forgive us. We just have to say some of all these things. We are all together. We want to work with you in a positive way. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.